Hello, another arena under the banner of the Greyjoy family. I didn't have high expectations for this meeting, especially since for reasons beyond our control, we were short 4 people. Yes, 4. A 6-person team cannot enter the arena. A minimum of 7 members is needed. At the last minute, we joined one account, but well, it was hard. The lack of trusted people with whom we sometimes understand each other without words can be very annoying. In this match, 3 random players joined us, but after hearing the nicknames, a glimmer of hope lit up. Did we succeed in this trip to the City of Glory, or did the Arena of Honor turn into the Arena of Dishonor? Check it out by watching this video. After seeing the horses at Watchtower, we were almost certain that the cavalry would be defending the NPC buildings. That suited me just fine, and it also laid the foundation for the classic plan since the arena change: take control of the towers and catapults while trying to take over the City of Glory. Sure, on paper and in theory it all looked great, but in reality, not necessarily. Of course, it's also worth watching the house that will be receiving attacks from us first. In this case, the Targaryens, who look like solid players. Unfortunately, the capture of the tower or catapult itself gives a huge number of points, and additionally, they generate points over time. This is definitely a better deal than trading, because by strengthening the castle army, we also create a greater threat to the opposing clan castles, as well as other buildings. However, catapults are harder to get. Strengthening the army of any kind is welcome. A good and effective way to strengthen it is the dragon, which we upgrade by taking over the dragon pit. Resistant opponents require a strong action, so support is welcome. Of course, soloing this building does not pose any major problems at this level of play. Just send your main army and hold it for 2 minutes. And let the fun begin. The Targaryens were the first to take over the City of Glory, but until the occupation period ends, this takeover will do them no good. But if one house took over the City of Glory, it will not return to the White Walker's banner. It will remain under someone else's occupation. The question is, who will hold out for 4 minutes under fire from the 5 other factions? And here we have it. Archers without legendary commanders have a really big problem with standing up to my spears. Despite the numerical advantage, they fell even with tier 5 troops. But this combination of commanders is effective if you take into account the limited possibilities. Melisandre giving a chance for additional damage. The important thing here is that it's about damage, not increasing the attack. Egbert increasing the attack of archers by a large amount for over a third of the battle counting from its start. Kravras giving a chance for a second attack. Sansa and Theon are more there for the percentages, but there aren't many other options in this category. It all comes down to using the right type of army. Archers are great, that's true, but they are not suitable for fighting with one type of army. They need a barrier in the front line because they have neither base health nor base defense that would allow them to survive such a storm. And again archers, but in female synergy. This is a much more effective option than strengthening only bows, as was the case with the previous one. Annie, great for fighting with large numbers of troops, because her awakening works in percentages depending on the number of troops. Layla as the core of female synergy, giving a chance to reuse the active army's skills. This is even more valuable if we take into account the damage itself, because archers had the highest basic attack of all unit types. Salma giving a chance to use an active skill at the beginning of the battle. Melisandre, as I mentioned in the previous report, gives a chance for additional damage when attacking. And also Arya Stark, who imposes a death marker when using an active skill, and each marker increases the damage from the skill. A very, very solid archer setup. Well thought out, working in every opportunity. Additionally, there is a huge numerical advantage here, but an army composed of only archers no longer has the possibility of surviving constant raids. Survivability too low. I generally try not to repeat the same setup and reports, but here we see the difference in troops. Someone quite cleverly thought to provide a living shield against archers, but you can't do that by just adding an army. Without stats from forges, badges or weapons, just adding non-primary units only weakens the army. If this player had 8 health badges for infantry, some defense and infantry health bonuses from weapons and forges, then they could effectively stop other players from crushing archers. In any other case, they just increase the number of casualties on their side. We haven't even buried our predecessors, and we already need to be buried. Weakness synergy against weakness synergy, but both are built differently. A trained eye will see that the number of losses, considering the numerical advantage of the opponent, is quite disproportionate. Where does this actually come from? My weakness synergy is based on large fights, raids, building defenses. The opponent, on the other hand, based his synergy on solo attacks. In a clash, with an equal number of units, I would gain an advantage with a larger army, while the fewer on both sides, the smaller my advantage. If in this fight, the number of units were equalized, ignoring the difference between Tier 5 and Tier 4, I would win. However, if I attack solo, then with the values of about 850,000 troops, I would have a problem getting through such a defense. Having one setup for everything, you can say that you have one setup for nothing. Very interesting match. The situation changed dynamically in the City of Glory. I will show you fragments that did not quite make sense in the main plot of the film. As you can see, we left the city faster than we entered it. Twice, the factions were so evenly matched that no one had a chance to fully take over the city, and when other factions realized this, they simply joined the joint tug of war. We took first place. I am very happy with this result, although the lack of Tier 5 troops bothers me a lot. Actually, not only me. We are trying to make up for it with planning and constant harassment of the opponent's altars. As you can see, the effects are there. The goal for this season is to return to the rank of King, where I ended the previous season. The results in the first matches of this season are much better than the previous one, because we understand this event and all the mechanics related to it better. Additionally, not only the knowledge of the event, but also the development of the account affects it. Expecting that one day you will catch up with the opponent is wrong in the very foundation. The opponent will not wait for this, but will develop himself as well. If the paths of development are closed for some reason, all that remains is to plan the resources in order to get the most out of them. Synergies mean that 1 + 1 does not necessarily equal 2. It can be more, depending on how they are planned. That is why it is worth trying. Even then, the first assumptions go to hell. As in this case, I thought there would be 8 of us from the basic lineup, but here came an ugly surprise and there were 6 of us left. Luck helped a little, but no one planned to give up, especially since a high place was within reach, and we pulled it out for them. Thank you for today, and see you soon.